Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live and Learn with Gemini Goddess. Um, Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that is tuning in that here at Live and Learn with Gemini Goddess, we appreciate questions. We actually enjoy getting questions. However, what we do not do is everyone that's here, they are sharing their stories. That is their personal story. They've chosen to come here and share it with you. We listen, we don't judge, and we do not cast our opinions on anyone. So tonight, my guest is going to be Mika Nicole. Mika's going to be joining me and she's going to be sharing her story. So, Mika, anytime you're ready, just come on in.
Hi,
Hey, darling, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Not too bad. So before we get started, I just want to introduce you guys. This is Mika. She's a very
Hi,
powerful
guys.
lady. She's been through a lot in life and she's thriving and surviving and doing it in a fabulous way. She's an inspiration to a lot of people and definitely an inspiration to me. And make sure you go on Amazon and download her and buy her book. Let's, we support each other here. She's got a very powerful book. I got it last year as a Christmas gift from my daughter, and I read it in less than 2 days. So y'all make sure you go and show some support to Mika.
Thank
She'll
you,
tell you a little bit about
Gemini.
her book.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, so you want to first start off and let them know the name of your book and how they can get it.
Yeah, so my book is called Thank God I Didn't Kill Myself, a guide from self-care to self-love. It's available on Barnes and Noble. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle. I believe right now, actually, you can get it free if you have Kindle. So please download it, check it out. I try to make it a very easy read. Everybody doesn't enjoy reading all the time or have the time to do so. So I tried to, make it user friendly, we'll say.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Make sure you go and show some support to Mika if you can. We support each other, and that's how we get through life. Each one teach one and supports one, and that's how we build and grow.
Definitely.
All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it. The stage is yours. You can start wherever you're comfortable, and just know the guidelines here are simple. You speak as much or as little that you are comfortable with,
Okay.
and if at any time I see that you are getting uncomfortable and can't handle it anymore, I will cut it and we'll take a break and whatever. So let's get started.
So where do you want me to start?
I want you to
Like,
start from I want you to start from the beginning. I want your whole fabulous story, darling. The good, the bad,
well,
and the ugly.
it was a brisk day in March in the at Georgetown University Hospital when a bouncing baby girl was brought to you all. No, really, I was born March in 77. I almost missed the 70s, but I, got in there just in time. It was interesting, I'll say, growing up in the time frame that I did. I can't say that dark skin, my complexion was necessarily a plus. And that's something that was kind of highlighted very much so as I, looked around my environment, which is kind of weird because my mom looks just like me. I always thought she was just amazingly gorgeous. But at the same time, like, yeah, I noticed that, like, I wasn't given the pretty card or anything. Nobody ever said I was ugly, but nobody ever said I was beautiful either. So that was, noted growing up. I wasn't anybody's favorite kid, I wouldn't say, in the neighborhood or in the church, but I grew up in the church very much so. I was at church every day, I want to say. It felt like every day. We did everything, dance groups, the choirs, like all types of stuff. Like those were our friends, really. Like we had other friends, but the church was your crew. Like, yeah, definitely. You knew you could ride with those people. And our church was very interestingly put together because it was a smaller church. So, like, my grandparents were founding members of the church. Shout out to Peace Lutheran Church in Southeast DC. But it was, yeah, a very interesting childhood. I was always a very outgoing person, but always very shy at the same time, if that makes any sense. So I would feel the anxiety, but I just would do it anyway. So my first solo in church, I was 4 years old. Like, but I was scared. Nobody was like, you got this, or whatever per se, except for my mother. She'll cheer anything. But, but
God bless the
like,
mamas.
you know what I mean? She definitely got the black mama card, but she will, yeah. So she's, that's my baby, that's my baby. But
Hmm.
growing up, in the environment, we were very much so, yeah, it was a lot of joning, a lot of, like those, you had to have thick skin. If you didn't already have it, you developed it quickly. So I've always been a performer, as I said. I sang in church. I ended up, singing at the Alamo Dome. I sang at the Superdome before. I sang at the Lincoln
All right.
Theater and, a bunch of different places. But that was in my previous life, I feel like, back when I was Tamika. So that's who I was born as, Tamika. I dropped the ta shortly, well, not shortly thereafter, I guess years later, when my son passed away about 4 years ago. Now, that was my second son that passed away. I had two boys, I had twin boys. And it's kind of crazy how life spins for you. Because I remember a time when I had two boys and one girl, right? Well, now I have four girls, you know what I mean? And no sons. But when I was having my two sons, I remember people, how people always put their input, they got to give you their 2 cents or whatever. I remember people saying things like, oh, are you gonna get your tubes tied? You know what I mean? Things like that. And I just think back, like, what if I had gotten my tubes tied? Like, I would have just had my only daughter, you know what I mean? She would have had to deal with losing both of her brothers by herself, no support as far as siblings. Whereas instead she has three sisters. And I couldn't imagine my life without these four girls, of course. I mean, needless to say. But yeah, so with me losing my first son, it was definitely a hit. Uh, I recall, I'm just all over the place. Is this how it's supposed to go? You just want
That's
me to just talk?
no, yep, that's how it is. You're speaking your truth.
Okay.
And you know what?
Well, I got married pretty young. I guess I kind of skipped over his existence. But so I was married. I didn't just have six kids. There was a man involved. Um,
Somewhat,
he had a little
somewhat.
bit, little something to do with some of that. But I married my boyfriend from fifth to 12th grade. We ended up getting married after I came back home from college, and long story short, the marriage became a little abusive, to say the least. And yeah, I had to kind of end things. But in the time frame, though, we had twin boys, and one of the boys passed away. He had gone back to work for the first time, first day, my ex-husband, and he like kissed everybody goodbye. And I fed both of the boys and I put them to sleep, and I went to sleep, and I had a dream that somebody called me on the phone, and they were like, hey, the baby died, but it's okay. And I was like, who had a baby? And I got ready to say baby. And I heard my son screaming like somebody stuck him with a pin or something. And they were 28 days old. And I woke up, one was breathing, one wasn't. I started CPR on them. I was staying with my mom at the time because I had just had babies. So I, went upstairs and I took the baby up there and she kept doing CPR, I believe, while I called 911. Yeah, I called 911. She kept doing CPR. And they, long story short, he didn't make it though. After that happened though, it's so crazy because I used to tell my son all the time, like, you're way better than your brother. Like, you kept breathing. Like, I'm just saying, at minimum, you know what I'm saying? You got this thing called life. You kept breathing. And but 20 years later, apparently, he didn't quite get the memo because he didn't keep breathing. And well, he passed away. That was about 4 years ago now. Well, no, it was 4 years ago now. And when that happened, I kind of went through, not kind of, I went through a huge transformation, needless to say. And that's when I dropped the ta off of Tamika and became Mika Nicole. It was a situation of, I felt like I dropped down and I kind of didn't know how to go on. And the only way to go on was to evolve in that time frame. I had just started doing meditations and, I became a certified guided meditation instructor and stuff right before this happened. I actually had to learn how to speak again. Because I was in a really bad car accident, but in me having to learn how to speak again and everything, it made it so that I was forced to be home when my son was going through high school. So like those last years of his life, for the most part, I was forced to be very, very present. Whereas I don't know anybody who's ever been a single mom of six kids. I mean, well, excuse me, five kids, but yeah, you don't have a lot of time. I'll say that to say the least. So yeah, work definitely kept me busy. I used to do human resources as my general, earning method. So therefore, when I had the accident and I was able to stay home and everything, those were years that I didn't know that I was getting these valuable, memories, with my son and my other children as well. But during that time frame, I started meditating so that I could kind of calm my mind to try to get my speaking together again and everything. And I feel like it worked. I'm doing pretty good. But from there, then my son passes away, right? So I had just signed up to go to a meditation retreat in Hawaii, and he passed away September the 13th. And I was scheduled to go to the retreat in November. So we had his funeral at the end of October. We didn't want to have it before my daughter's birthday. Um, and, we had the funeral. I went to the retreat though. And while I'm on the retreat, I remember the leader saying, so at the end, he said, so if you were to write a book about your life up until this point, what would you call it? And I was like, I'd say it is what it is, because whatever's happened has happened and there's really nothing you can do about it but move forward, right? And he said, well, if you wrote a book about your life from this point forward, what would you call it? Thank you. He said, if you could write a book about your life from this point forward, what would you call it? And I said, thank God I didn't kill myself. And so that's where my book came from. Thank God I didn't kill myself. A guide from self care to self love. Because I realized, we all talk about self love, self love. I mean, self care, self care, self care, self love, right? But none of us really seem to practice self love, when you really think about it. We say we practice self love, but then we're at our wits' end. We don't have anything else to give. And somebody calls us with like some BS, and we sit there and we listen to the BS, knowing that we're like we're on empty. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the ultimate disservice to what God made you and who God made you to be. You know what I'm saying? God tells you in the Bible straight out, like, love your neighbor as yourself, right? The prerequisite for that is loving yourself. So that means
True.
those boundaries, those, you know what I mean, that time that you need, that rest, that relaxation. People that say, "Oh, to be successful, you don't get any rest. You rest when you're dead." No, you rest now. You take the time for yourself and you rest. You love yourself. You know what I'm saying? That way you're able to love your neighbors better. You're able to be a better person. You're in a better mindset, right? You have better energy, all that good stuff. So that's where I came up with, my book and everything. And then, life shifted as life continues to shift. So through my healing process, I try to come up with major things, if you will, to make myself feel better. The book was the first thing. I did that for the 1 year anniversary. I had released and self-published the book in, honor of my son. And then I went on and I created a business, a nonprofit called Lavish Conversations Incorporated, because I feel like any conversation we have at this point is a lavish conversation because you have the opportunity to have it. And there's somebody else who wishes that they were here to have it, So with Lavish Conversations, I interview people, I do, media and outreach, but above all else, I do red carpets. And I amplify the voices of inspirational people in whatever methods I can. So my red carpets aren't the usual everyday red carpets, I wouldn't say, if there is a such thing. I do red carpets for movie premieres. I do birthday parties. I do events, go-go's, whatever it may be. I do red carpets, fundraisers, film festivals. You can catch me pretty much anywhere. Otakon, but always because I feel like the one thing that's missing from our world these days are those testimonies, are those, those people yelling out from the mountaintops about how they survived, how they got through, how you got over, you know what I mean? I'm not the only person that's lost, a child. I'm not the only person that's lost two children. I'm not even the only person that's lost twin boys. You feel what I'm saying? However, the fact that I'm not that only person would go would go blindly past me, and I would feel alone and I would feel secluded if nobody else was out here sharing their story, right? But hearing that somebody else has been through it and not only survived it, but they're thriving afterwards, that means that I can do it too. Because guess what? I'm not any more fearfully and wonderfully made than you are, and you're not any fearfully and wonderfully made than the next person. You know what I mean? We're all amazing individuals who are capable of incomparable deeds. You know what I mean? All we have to do is really tap in and believe in ourselves. So, yeah, I think that's a good nutshell start for who I am and where I
Okay.
am.
Okay, so y'all, with your, so with, okay, so let's just narrow it down so everybody, they can catch it because it was a lot. Okay, so she lost her first child when he
Yes.
was only a few weeks old, few days old,
Yeah.
actually, because it wasn't
He
even a
was
month old.
28 days old, yeah, from SIDS, sudden infant death
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yep, and I'm sure we've all heard about that, but we don't really know a lot of people who, so yeah, it is real. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then she lost her other son, but regardless of all of that, life, she's thriving because you know what, even though she went through all of that stuff, it might have knocked her down, but it didn't keep her down. There's also the accident where she couldn't even talk. So, like, now you're looking at a
Yeah.
walking miracle, literally, like a walking miracle. Somebody who picked herself up from the bottom and built this fabulous, beautiful Black woman right in front of you that's inspiring people all over because I can tell you, she inspires me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's definitely not been an easy situation. Oh, thank you, Black Butterfly. I definitely have had to tap in, but what I realize is it's a conscious decision that we each make every day. There's somebody out here who lost their girlfriend who's ready to end it all. There's somebody else who's lost their mom or their dad who's ready to end it all. It's as horrific as what I've experienced has been. On the other hand of things, if you lose your mom or your dad, it's just as difficult to get over if you've never known a life without that person. Think about somebody who's really close to their mom, who has, you know what I mean, just that excellent relationship, that really nurturing, supportive relationship, right? You know what I mean? And it's like that, well, that's such a blessing to have. Then you have that ultimate one day, you know what I mean? That person isn't going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's how you want the natural order of things to go, though, right? Like, God forbid she have to ever bury you, you know what I'm saying? But the loss of her, though, you've never known a day on this earth without her. You know what I'm saying? I knew a few years out here on earth before I met my son, but the craziest part too, my first son was very difficult. Yes, that was the first person that I've ever known like that close to me that I saw like deceased. I've never been the person to find anybody or anything like that. And for it to be my body, like my person, was just unfathomable for me. But when my 20-year-old son passed, it was just like, didn't we do this already? Like, I felt like I should be exempt because like I already lost a son. So like skip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not how this works. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like none of us is exempt from loss, unfortunately. And when the sting of death comes, it comes swiftly. And most people, it's sad, but it can be very isolating because a lot of people don't understand the pain that you feel. So I have to make this conscious decision to move forward. If you look in my book, you know what I'm saying. I say it's a conscious decision because I could very well grab the sweater, grab a cardigan, and close it up and sit by the window and rock back and forth with a cigarette hanging from my lip. My hair all matted and stuff, like, and everybody's
I
like,
feel
"What's wrong with
judged.
her?" You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
judged.
And everybody's like, "What's wrong with her?" They're like, "Oh, that's Miss Tamika. She ain't been the same since she lost her boy." You know what I mean? I could be like that, but I'm not like that. But that doesn't mean that sadness doesn't hit me like a ton of bricks out of nowhere. I remember there was an eclipse, right? And me and my daughter are talking about the eclipse, right? Out of nowhere, Gemini, I burst into tears. Just burst. I mean, ugly cry, burst into tears. She was like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I just pictured this picture that I have of my son on my balcony. You know how people used to look through the cereal box to try to look at the eclipse, and
Hmm.
he and my daughter were standing on the balcony together, looking in the cereal box at the eclipse, like obviously years
Yeah.
ago. But when this eclipse happened not too long ago, all I could think of, like that picture popped in my head, and before I could catch myself, it's like I tell people grief is like standing in the ocean and the water is up to right here, right? So when you're standing in the ocean, you're never on solid footing. You're always like bobbling, right? The water catches you, you go under. Oh, whoa, gotta get yourself together, right? And I feel like I'll be right here, and suddenly it'll be like, whoa, and I get caught by a wave. And in that moment, that wave knocked me over. My goodness, the undertow had your girl. So
Yeah.
moments like that do happen. I don't want people to think like, oh, she's all good, she's great.
Oh no,
But
grief doesn't have an expiration date, and that's what people need to realize. Some people might
yeah,
be able to handle it a little bit better than others, but it
right,
doesn't
yeah,
mean that it's gone away.
exactly,
It never
exactly.
goes away. There's always that time where it just the simplest thing, and it just
Yeah, yeah. I was telling somebody that, the holidays are a little more difficult for me, right? Because my son passed away in September and me and my kids are really big on the holidays, right? And they were like, "Well, you can't use your son as an excuse, about everything." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't think I was. I thought, I'm just saying it's a little difficult because, memories pop up." But it was a quick reminder that unfortunately, whether you want them to or not, everybody doesn't get it. And you don't really, in all honesty, I can't lie. I don't want anybody to understand my pain for real. I don't want people to feel that. Like,
and
yeah, keep your little bliss.
no matter how hard anybody tries, even if they've been through the exact same thing that you have, they will never understand yours because we all grieve, we all process things differently. Then
Exactly.
so it will never align. You will never be able to feel.
Yeah.
And one of the things that bothers me, and I know it shouldn't, but it does. Like when
What?
you're going through that grief, and like when you've just lost somebody or something, and
Hmm.
then going through that grief, and they look at you and say, "Oh well, they're in a better place."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I
That's
know that
one of
they're in a
them.
better place, and I'm grieving. Like this is like right now, my tears, my pain. It's
Right.
my loss. It's about what I'm feeling. It's not about what. Yes, they are in a
Yes.
better place, and I do feel good to know that, but at the same time, I'm missing that person. I'm missing that piece of me. So give me the time to grieve, or that, oh, don't cry. Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, when my first son passed away, I can't lie, in the hospital, I remember I was about to, like, have that whole breakdown, lose your mind moment. And I guess I had started cursing a little bit, like this is type situation, and somebody was like, you need to get it together. You have another baby you have to be here for. And immediately, I don't know if they meant for this to translate the way it did, but immediately it was like, okay, you don't get that time to grieve. You don't get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like that, that luxury isn't something you can partake in. And yeah, I just kind of moved on. That's also where I came up with the whole self care to self love, because I feel like after that, I practiced self care. I bathed. I was cute. You know what I'm saying? I was outsideish. However, I wasn't practicing self love. I wasn't evolving. I wasn't living in my purpose. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, being who I really could be. I was just getting through life for real? And I think that second, passing, that second loss of my other son, I mean, amongst, the other things in life, like I told you, I was in a very abusive marriage. I had guns put to my head. I was, choked with wire hangers and things of that nature. Like when I say abusive, I mean very abusive, like outside barefoot, like in the rain. But throughout all the things that I endured, I feel like I was constantly being shaken to try to get me to awaken into my evolution. You know what I'm saying? And I think life has a habit of doing that to us, like shaking us until you awaken, until you step into the space that you're supposed to be in. And yeah, I think that was how my evolution occurred. I thank God for all the things that have happened in my life, not to me, but for me, because they made
And
me who
see,
I am.
and see, every time I hear like one of you ladies' stories, I'm more and more convinced that Tyler Perry been writing the script to our lives, eh?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I
Mm,
think he stole some things for sure,
mm. Yeah, and
for
Tyler, you need to
sure,
put that damn pen down and leave us alone now. I'm just saying,
for
because
sure. Like, I mean, yeah. After my son passed, I was cursed out, like by people. I found myself, God, like if I could make a list for you of my whole circle changed. Like no, not figuratively, but literally my whole circle changed. There were people, didn't nobody really came and checked on me, came to see me. Like, it was just, yeah. I remember my ex, and I don't mean my ex-husband, but my like ex-boyfriend was like the only person around. But when things really happen, like, excuse me, but when the shit really hits the fan, that's when you really find out, you know what I'm saying? Like who can tough it out and who can't?
mhm.
And when I did a assessment of the people I had been surrounding myself with, in all honesty, I hadn't been surrounding myself with people that challenged me or pushed me for greater. Now everywhere I look, everybody I'm around is super supportive, is super, encouraging. Everybody knows their strengths, and therefore I don't ever have to question whether I should dim my light or whether I'm too much, or you know what I mean? Like literally everybody knows, like, it's Mika, and they're all good with it. You know what I mean? I can be
Amen.
your, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so, Mika is crazy. Yeah, you find out who your real friends are when you go through the thick of it. Like that
Mhm.
rain. Everybody, what did Boy Smith? Can you stand the rain? Not
Uh,
everybody can, but
Not
them
everybody
storms do
can. Nope.
come. The storms
Listen,
are gonna come. Yes.
there are some people that can't even stand a little bit of drizzle. It's like, as soon as whoop.
The wind blow,
Yeah.
and they will
Yep.
be out of there, out of there.
Mhm.
Yes. But it's funny too, because so let me tell you guys. So, all this stuff happened and I lost all these friends. Imagine, like, right? I lost my second son, and now like I'm losing all these friends, or so I think. You never lose a friend. Know that, okay? You don't lose
Right.
a friend.
That's right.
If you lost them, they
They
probably
never
wasn't.
were really
I'm
your
just
friend to
saying.
begin with. Yep.
But let me tell you, right? So all this shifting happened and everything in my world, and it had to happen because the people that I was around before, I couldn't imagine me being around them and being in the rooms that I've been in now, or talking to the people that I'm talking to now. Like, Every time I look up, I'm just like so amazed. I can't lie. Like, Gemini, I met you the day after I lost my job in Jamaica.
Girl,
I
I
mean,
didn't. I said the way you were fabulous and going, I didn't even know. Like,
but even when I met you, that's a perfect example. You're a perfect example. What was I doing when I met you other than being 100% me? And nobody was like raining on my parade. Nobody was like inhibiting me in any
girl, you
way,
were
shape,
petting
or
cows. I
form.
love it.
Oh, I was feeding and petting cows. It was amazing. Like, yeah, and ever since then I've just been able to honestly, yeah, just be myself 100%. And it feels so free for real. Like when you don't give a damn about what anybody has to say or anybody thinks about you or what you're doing, you're like it's the most freeing feeling, honestly.
But isn't it amazing how God works? Sometimes
Yeah.
when he removes people or things or remove you from certain situations and you think it's the worst thing, you don't even realize
Mhm.
that God is just clearing that path or removing that person from your life because you're about to elevate and you cannot bring that person with you because they are not ready to reach that level.
Yeah. 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 I think that's so amazing for real. And I think that's what I experienced or what, throughout my life in all honesty. I'm really good at making friends or, meeting people or connecting with people. It's just really hard for me to kind of get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? So even when I know it's expired milk, it's just still
Mm,
sitting in there in my refrigerator. Cause I mean, I got space, I guess. But no, you don't. Because if you keep the
mm-mm.
expired milk in your refrigerator, then God's not going to give you that turkey that you could have brought home and put in there. You know what I mean? Because you didn't have
Exactly.
space for it anyway, because you got the wrong
Exactly.
milk in there, in your turkey space.
You know
So,
what someone said to me once, and it like I've never been hit by anything so much in my life. This man looks at me, okay, and he like this is somebody who doesn't even know me. He goes, Gemini, I can tell you are the type of person that he's telling me about the tree, like the tree and the leaves and the branches, right? Have you ever heard that metaphor about like the people in your lives? You have some that are the roots, some
oh,
are the
yeah.
yeah. So
Yes.
he said to me, he goes, but your problem, Gemini, why you don't elevate is you try to hold on to everybody. He's like the leaves are gonna fall off, but you know what you do, Gemini? You take those damn leaves and you bury them in the ground, trying to get them to grow into roots. But guess what they do? They'll never become roots. They are going to rot and
Yeah.
infect the roots that you have. You got to allow it to fall away because you're never going to reach where you need to be if you keep holding on because those leaves are not meant to be there. And you're not
Yeah.
going to grow any further if you keep burying those damn withered leaves into the
Yeah.
ground. It's going to
That's the
rot away the
truth.
whole tree. And I was like, well,
I've always
damn.
had a weak spot. As mean as people have always thought I was, I've always had a weak spot though, so when people come to me, it's very unfortunate because it seems to be the people with the BS that come to you with it when they're like, I'm sorry. I know I did this and this and this, but I'm sorry. I'm always like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, no, you're not sorry. But I'm like, okay, another chance.
Mhm.
Another chance. Turn the other cheek. The other cheek. And it's like,
Yep.
God only gave you so many cheeks, girl. Bring it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess the point where you're going to start turning the ass, you got to turn the ass cheeks. I'm just saying.
Right. It's like Black Butterfly said, you can't let people tilt your crown. And I think
Mm,
that's what starts happening when you start turning your cheek too many times. If you keep doing this, your crown gonna start slipping. It can't stay
exactly.
where intact like it's supposed to.
Yeah, and it messed up. Like, you are always there straightening other people's crown and, shining the light on them. And while you shining the
Yeah.
light on them, they are kicking out your damn headlights and
Yeah.
holding you down and
Yeah.
ripping off your crown like.
And that's part of why I have to be so careful because one of my superpowers really is shining a light on other people. Like for me, shining a light on others makes me feel brighter. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like I'm making the sun even brighter. You know how the sun is shining down on you and you're just laying there like bathing, like soaking it up, and it's like to me, shining my light just makes it like reflect back on me even brighter. I love to see people feel good about themselves or realize their greatness, or see it reflected back to them. So when you're doing that, I guess with a brick wall as opposed to a light, sometimes it might just absorb that, I don't know, absorb the light like a black hole or something. A black hole absorbs light.
All
Is
I
that
know is I
reflected
can say,
black?
one thing I can say is like, you know what, for those couple days with you and Ray, when y'all started hitting me with the truth, I felt attacked. I'm like, geez, okay.
Yeah, I love the truth tellers, and I love the people that can accept the truth though too, because it's not always soft and pretty, but it
Yeah.
is always necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing is like too many people want things sugar coated and soft and coddled and stuff like that. And, you know, like, and they would prefer for you to lie to them. And
Right.
what's that really going to get you?
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Not anywhere far, I wouldn't say. But I
Yeah.
don't do well at lying or sugarcoating things. It's not really my forte. That's probably why I just kind of stay in my own little corner in my own little chair there.
No, I understand that because I'm working on it and I've gotten a lot better because you know when you first met me, I was the one of like, you know, they mean well and making excuses for everything and everybody and like, you know, like but
Yeah.
I've gotten better.
I
Not
so while I do want to heal the world, I don't want to make the world's problems my problem. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to let people pull me into drama or pull me into decisions that they've made as adults, to be a party to. That doesn't mean that I've agreed to be a party to it.
exactly. And then on top of it, when you keep enabling people, you're not doing them any good either. You know, when you enable their
No.
bullshit, you're not doing them any good. And I've started to realize that I have been an enabler to a lot of bullshit because I'd just be like,
Hmm.
oh, you know what, you know, making excuses for people and then making excuses for the way they treat me and stuff like that, right? But I'm
Yeah.
getting stronger and I'm getting better, and I can say like this year, I'm proud of
Hmm.
myself for the accomplishments that I've made because I've been able to set boundaries with some people. I've been able to walk away and not look back, you know?
I love that.
Might have taken me 2, 3 turns to do it, right?
I love that.
But you ever notice that it's always like you take on so much and like the harshest things and you keep forgiving it, but it takes the tiniest little thing to just
To
push you over
really,
the edge and you're
it's
like, yeah,
always
no.
that straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm,
I
mm-hmm.
stopped speaking to a girl literally. Look at this, okay? So, story time. So, one time I used to buy tickets for concerts by myself all the time. I don't mind doing stuff by myself. I'm my best company. So, I used to buy tickets for concerts and I bought tickets to see Beyonce, right? But I didn't know which side of the stadium I wanted to be on, okay? So, I bought a ticket on either side of the stadium. I told a friend of mine that I was going to use one ticket and I would sell her the other ticket, right? They were in the 100 and some section. I don't remember where exactly, but the 100 and some section. She it gets closer to time for the concert. I asked her if she's still going to buy the ticket. She says, "Yeah, you said the ticket was 100 and some dollars." I said, "No. The ticket cost 300. I think it was $400, something like that, right? It was like $300." And she said, "No, you said the ticket was one something." I
Want
said,
something for
"No.
Beyonce? What drugs is she on?
In what world are you going to get $100 tickets for Beyonce,
You can't even
especially in
pay
the
$100 to
100
watch Beyonce
section?"
on TV, let alone.
Especially in the 100 section, though, honey. Come
Mm,
on now. So, but not only that, I bought the ticket so I can show you how much it costs. Like, that's not an issue. Well, she wanted to argue with me about, how much I said it was going to cost. She told me that she was going to fight me over this ticket. Okay. Because I guess that would have got me to give it to her. I don't know. But she was going to fight me. So she was going to come to my house and she was going to fight me over this ticket, right? Now, that happened, but that's not what made me stop being her friend. That's not what made me stop being her friend, okay? What made me stop being her friend is that I showed up at my son's funeral and she was coming out of the door as I was about to walk into the funeral. And she said, "Girl, you just got here? I tried to wait for you, but you took too long." That's what made me stop being her friend. I never said another word to her in my life.
girl,
That's
listen.
what that's what
No, but
made me
this is
stop being her friend.
but this is your son's funeral.
That she told me I took too long getting to
And
my
that's
son's funeral. I said,
and
"Oh, she
that's
lost
and
her
that's what she
mind."
had. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to her either. No, girl,
Never said.
That ain't
I
no
never
simple
said
petty
another
thing
word.
to
But I
stop
didn't
talking.
stop
No,
being her friend about wanting to fight me. She was gonna fight me and my kids. She was gonna fight me over over my Beyonce ticket. Physical violence. And I didn't stop being her friend over that, but I stopped being her friend because of that statement. I was like, oh, one and done. We're good.
oh, girl, I get it. I stopped talking to somebody because they told me they were going to call me back. They didn't call me back. They told me 2 or 3 times. They never did, and I was like, yeah, you know what? You're not going to call me back again. Mind you, this is a person where like I've known since
Gemini,
the
you might
eighth
stop
grade.
speaking to me really soon then, because I'm really bad about calling people
No,
back.
no. See the thing about it is this. There was so much. I don't normally like, I don't like to talk on the phone that much, right? So that doesn't matter. It was just so much different things added up, and that was like just the final
Oh,
straw. Like, I was done and
same
I needed
thing.
a reason, and that was like my final reason. It's like you're
Yeah.
wasting my time.
Yeah. All I needed was
So
a
it takes
reason.
yeah, so it takes the simplest things.
Yeah. That's the truth. That is the
Yeah.
truth. Yeah.
And I'm talking about, this is a person that me and her scrapped it out. Like I pulled her by her hair into the middle of the square and body slammed her to the ground and beat that. Like
Well,
she tried to spit on me.
she didn't actually fight me, okay?
Oh no, this
That
girl
might
tried.
have made me not be her friend anymore, but
This girl
you
spit.
didn't.
This girl spit and almost got her spit on me. Tried to spit in my face.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I know
Canadian.
Dana's watching and Dana knows who I'm talking about. But yeah,
You Canadians, my word.
Dana's probably sitting there laughing her ass off because
Where's
she
my
knows the
pearls
story
so
and
I
she
can
knows
clutch
exactly where.
them? Oh my goodness.
Disclaimer: I'm a really good person. It just takes a lot to bring me to that level.
Okay, Gemini.
And that side of me, like I tell people, there's two sides of me, and that side of me, I keep her locked in the basement.
Is that
But
why
if
your
she
name
ever
is Gemini?
Yeah, because I'm a Gemini and I've got the double personalities. But you see, the crazy one that does that type of shit, she's locked in the basement. But if she ever chews through the chains down there, I'm sorry, I can't help what she does.
It sounds like she might not have real chains. I don't know, but okay, I
Oh
hear
no,
you.
she got real chains. She's been chained down there for, my son is what? He's 9 now. So yeah, she been chained down there for 8 years now. 9 years almost, because my son was a baby. My son was in his stroller. He was a couple weeks old when I did that. So yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh my word.
Dana's commenting. I can't comment, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
A
I don't know,
changed woman.
for some reason she can't comment on the, I gotta figure out what's going on with her settings, why she can't comment.
Well, hey Dana, just the same.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Dana's my girl. Me and Dana go back like 17 years now.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've definitely changed over 17 years. A lot.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot, a
no.
lot.
I think we all, shit, I've changed over 17 days. We be
But
changing
if
every
you
day.
haven't, then there's a problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
She
but
said,
there's so many.
hey.
It's always funny though too how so many people want you to stay stuck in whoever it was that you used to be, you know? People get so
Exactly.
comfortable even though they may not even have liked who you were, but they get so comfortable with your past that they want to hold you, to it no matter what who that is or what that is, you know.
Yeah, I find that a lot, like, especially like on TikTok, a lot of people want me to be the person that I was when I first came on TikTok because it was financially beneficial for them.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've grown and I've become like, when I first started on social media, like one of the main reasons why I even went on social media on TikTok was to get away from Facebook, because
Mm-hmm.
I was going through some, like, I'd lost a friend, and it was plastered all over Facebook every day, people talking so much bad things about, and I just couldn't handle it, so I left. And then I fell down the rabbit hole and I fell into Jamaican TikTok.
Okay. But that sounds like a comfortable place. What was Jamaican TikTok like for you?
Jamaican TikTok, you know what? I'm gonna tell you straight up. Jamaican TikTok, it's good, it's got the bad, it's got the ugly. Jamaican TikTok, it's got those people that I don't really associate with, because those are the ones that are telling people to S their mothers and this and that and being all dramatic and stuff like that. So I try to
Mhm.
avoid those type of people.
Right.
But I am so glad that I did fall into the Jamaican TikTok, because if I didn't, like I have a sister. That's it. I've only had a sister. I've always wanted to have brothers. And
Mm.
when I fell into Jamaican TikTok, I ended up with 7 brothers. Like,
Oh,
and
well, that's cool.
I'm not talking about just online. I'm talking about off of TikTok. They're all in Jamaica, but we
Uh-huh.
communicate almost every day, and they are like literally like my brothers. So,
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
and I connect. And if I wasn't on Jamaican TikTok, like the people that I know now, I wouldn't know, because I never would have met Cookie. Hence, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have met Ray. I wouldn't have met, because it was like through my connection with Jamaican TikTok,
Oh, wow.
how we were all able to connect, right? So,
See,
yeah. So
that's
I
how
got to
you
be
know
thankful.
things are meant to be.
And the sad thing is, I've been on there for so long, and I'm Canadian, and I know probably 2 Canadian TikTokers. I need to do better.
I think you probably need to do better with your
And the
connection.
funny part about it is, I know 2 Canadian TikTokers, and the two Canadian TikTokers, I met them in the Jamaican TikTok world.
Oh, wow.
Mm. That's what I
That's
tell people. All
wild.
What people fail to realize about Jamaica is a small island, but
Yeah.
it has such inspiration on this world,
Yeah.
that there's like nowhere in this world you can go and they don't know about Jamaica, or there isn't a
Right.
Jamaican there. I'm telling you, girl,
That's
I say it all the
true.
time. If you go to Antarctica right now, you gonna find a
Mhm.
Jamaican on the side of the road selling jerk penguins, because that's just
My daughter's
Jamaican for you,
my daughter's English teacher is Jamaican. So is her Spanish teacher.
right?
I think that's very hilarious that her
And
Spanish teacher is Jamaican.
right, and then it just shows the impact that Jamaica has too. Because if you look at the hurricane that happened the other day, and like the
Yeah.
whole world was like at grips, like, like, oh my God, it's Jamaica.
How are the cleanup efforts going?
Darling, honestly, it's been so much for me, and I've been going through so much that I've kind of just stepped away, and I can't absorb anymore, and I can't handle seeing anymore. And
Mhm.
once I got the last phone call from the last person that I was worried about and didn't have any contact with, I just kind of locked it off,
Okay, okay.
because it's just a lot. It's just
Do
a
you know
lot,
when
and
your next trip is down there?
Um, I want to go next summer, because the schools, like, that's what we deal with Pathways to Promise, right? And the schools, they've gone through a lot of devastation. So I do want to make a trip there next summer. It's just right now for me, I'm tied up with so many things. And, I've got like young kids, so I'm not able to just up and
Yeah.
go whenever I feel like it. And I'm trying
Yeah.
to get my business off the ground. So I'm focusing on that. And I'm also going through a stage where I'm trying to self reflect and build myself right now. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to throw myself into too many things, because I know when I do, then I neglect myself.
Right.
And right now I'm going through my self love and build myself stage, because I do not want to end up back the way I was 2, 3 years ago. And I found myself like
Right.
resorting back to that. And I don't want to, I've made too much progress that I don't want to falter
Hmm.
back to where I was, right? So when
Yeah.
I get when I get to that stage, I just kind of pull myself back from everything and
Hmm.
everybody, because one, I don't want to put my negative, like, when I have that negative energy, and I don't want to put that on anybody.
Yeah.
But I kind of try to pull myself back from
Yeah.
people. And so, yeah, right now I'm going through my reflect stage, and I'm so glad to be back doing this, because this helps me. So, like, as hearing y'all's story, let me tell you, if you guys don't have an impact on anybody, it
Hmm.
has an impact on me. This is my therapy.
Well, that's definitely a plus. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for having your platform too. And I think that, live and learn, I mean, it speaks volumes in itself because that's what we all need to be out here doing, right? Each day that we're living, we need to be learning a little bit more.
Exactly. Like, try every day to learn something, and, no matter
Yeah.
how minor it is.
Yeah, so you can be a little better than the person you were yesterday. If you improve yourself that much from yesterday, you're winning, you know?
Exactly. And just know that the competition is with who you were yesterday, not with anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate your audience and thank you for letting me come on here and talk to you all.
Most definitely. So y'all make sure that you go on Amazon, or like she said, it's free right now on Kindle.
Yeah, so if
Read
you
her
have
book.
Kindle, download it on Kindle. It's not very long at all. It's
It's
an
not. I
easy
went through it in
read.
two
What did
days.
you say? I
I
think
went
it's
through
an
it in two
easy.
days, and it could have been less, but because I've got my kids, them that interrupt me every 30 seconds.
Yeah, before we go into 2026, I definitely want us all to step into that self-love aspect of our lives, you know? Because 2026 needs to be all gas, no brakes. Like we need to just be producing and growing and evolving and yeah, pushing forward, you know, every day, taking
Exactly.
that next step.
Exactly. And remember what Mika said, that's the whole love your neighbor as you'd love yourself. You got to love it begins with loving yourself
Yeah,
first.
that prerequisite, you know, it's
Yeah.
like when you take those college courses, that prerequisite is love yourself. God
All
felt
right.
like he didn't need to tell you that part, but
Unfor-
he,
Unfortunately, a lot of us need some type of reminder at some time.
that's right. He overestimated some of us, you know.
Yeah. And speaking of, the year ending and stuff like that, before the year ends, we got Christmas coming up. So y'all
Yeah,
make
what's your
sure
goals?
Tuesday at 7 p.m., when it's normally kicked back with Cookie, it's actually going to be a very luxy Christmas.
Oh,
Y'all make
that's
sure
so
you
cute.
y'all make sure you come through because we're all gonna be there. Give you a little taste of a little bit of my costume. So yeah,
Those are so cute.
So yeah, so make sure you guys tune in on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Very Luxy Christmas. You guys know that every day, every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is morning kickstart with Mel B. Make sure you tune in for that. Uh, we have Lux Radio has so many shows,
I
and
see you all are growing steadily.
it is, and you know what? I big shout out to Cookie. Because you know what, in the last year, what she has done with Lux Radio and J.A.B Entertainment, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I am in awe of her and inspired by like the stuff that she does, and it's like she never takes a break, like, which Cookie, you heard what Mika said.
Take a
Um,
break, Cookie.
yeah,
Go to
all
sleep.
work and no play, right?
Right, exactly. We don't want you to be a cookie monster.
Exactly.
We
Yeah,
want you to
but you know
stay
what?
a cookie beauty like you are.
But she's done an amazing job with Lux Radio. And
Yeah.
y'all, Lux Radio's got an app too, so make sure you go download the app. Make
Yeah.
sure that you support each other because that's how we grow is if we support each other, so and the things that Lux Radio do it don't really cost you nothing.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, if you all want to check me out on the red carpet, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Lavish Conversations and follow Mika Nicole on Facebook and reach out to Mika at lavishconversations.com if you want me to come grace a red carpet near you.
And you will definitely be seeing Mika a lot more on Lux Radio because when we do have events, Mika will be stepping in sometimes and hosting some of our events and stuff like that. So y'all make sure that you follow Mika and know how we do it. You support us, we will support you back because that's how we all grow.
Yes,
So
yes. I have some great inspirational videos on there, some great inspirational people that I've spoken with. And yeah, like I said, I'm always surprising myself by the people that I meet and the things that people have to say. You know, you never realize the inspiration that's about to come out of somebody's mouth.
most definitely. And just to let y'all know that I'm not sure if y'all have seen my posts that I've been putting up and everything says hashtag mission 46. So June 2nd, my 46th birthday, that's when it all comes to. And I'll show y'all what that's all about. So
Mission 46. Uh-oh.
mission 46.
I'm excited.
And y'all, Z-Berry Naturals is very close to coming together. I got some pretty exciting news today. So, yep,
Can you share
Z-Berry
with
Natural.
us?
Z-Berry Natural is like my all natural, like, my all natural skin. I have an appointment on Monday where someone is actually interested in someone wants it in financing and funding the berry naturals. And I have also got two
Awesome.
stores and a hair salon that is interested in getting my products on their shelf. So I got to get my butt in gear.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's
So yeah,
truly amazing.
mission
Oh, thank you,
46,
Black
y'all.
Butterfly. I appreciate it. I definitely wish you all the continued success that I know you'll get anyway. I'm sure Lux Radio is, yeah, this is only the beginning. We all have seen the growth over this last year, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah. And I want to thank the ladies from Lux Radio that have been inspiring me and basically pushing me to get off my butt and do what I need to do to get things started.
Uh-huh.
And Dana and Extra, who I see out there, like both of you, like thank you both for like being that pin that's like poking me and saying like, girl, get your ass up and do what you need to do. So
Oh, hey, Mel. I didn't know that was Mel.
yeah, Mel's Black Butterfly. Even though you know my thing with butterflies, Mel's the only butterfly that I love.
Gemini, tell everybody your thing with butterflies real quick.
Oh no, they know. We talked about
Oh,
it.
they know.
We talked about it when Mel told her story about butterflies. Yeah, I'm petrified of butterflies.
Well, let me tell you guys my butterfly story. So, my first big event after my son passed was with my daughter's graduation from high school. And I was all like, sad and stuff, of course, but I didn't want to tell anybody else because, you don't want to make everybody else sad. So, I was like having my little moment by myself. And then I get to the stadium. It's at a baseball stadium. And I'm sitting in one area with my daughter, one of my daughters, and my ex husband. And then my daughter who's graduating is on the field, and then my other daughter is on the other side of the stadium with her dad and his family. And so we're sitting there, and this butterfly out of nowhere comes swarming up in my face, like swoops into my face. Like, I mean, I jump back and I'm like, oh my God, did y'all just see that butterfly like attack me? And everybody's like, what the heck? And I'm like, it just attacked me. And my ex-husband's like, yeah, Jay's here. He's calm about everything, okay? He doesn't get frazzled.
Um,
You would wonder, how did he abuse you? He's never hype. But so he was like, yeah, Jay's here. And I'm just like, anyway, he didn't get excited about anything. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So later on in the evening, we're at dinner, and my daughter is like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, you just stood there. I'm so proud of you. You just graduated. She's super shy. But at the end of the stage, she stood there and let me take a whole photo shoot, right? And I'm like, you just stood there. You were so happy and like bouncy. And she's like, yeah, right before I went up there, this butterfly was like all in my face. Like everybody was like, oh my goodness, that butterfly won't leave you alone. And she was like, all of a sudden, I felt so happy. I just like couldn't take it. And so then they called my name, and I just went bouncing up there because I was so happy, right? So we're telling the story to my other daughter, like, oh my gosh, isn't this so wild? The one that was sitting on the other side of the stadium. And she's like, Daddy, what was flying all in my face when we were sitting at the stadium at the graduation today? And he's like, what, that butterfly? And she's like, did y'all hear him? It was a butterfly all in her face at the stadium also. Mind you, it's like hot as hell in the middle of, the summer, ready for graduation, you know what I mean, in a baseball stadium. There was nothing flying around. Like, what's the likelihood? But
See?
butterflies.
Y'all got some good inspirational things from butterflies. I got attacked by 1,000 of them and almost fell and broke my damn legs and with their eyeball looking. Yeah, no, y'all stay over. And they know that I don't like them. So they always come and land on my shoulders and up in my face and stuff like that and just try to give me a heart attack. Y'all have a good relationship with butterflies. I don't. But, you know, and one of the messed
Well,
up part
I
about
don't
it
know.
is
I told you I almost jumped out the seat. I wasn't like, yay. I was more like, oh my God.
yeah.
But
And that's and butterfly is my sister's nickname. That's what they call my sister, Butterfly. But for me, it will like I can't.
yes,
Even my
yes,
wedding, like
I
I got.
believe that. Butterflies are our loved ones letting us know they're still here. I agree. Yes.
Well, shit, I had 1,000 of them come and attack me at once. No, no,
Your
no.
ancestors, they had a message for you.
Yeah,
They
it's
had a
what
message
roll
for
down
you.
that hill, Negro roll. Yeah,
That
no.
might have been it. Testing your agility. It was like, could
Yeah.
escape if need be. Maybe that's what they were telling you. I don't know.
You're one of them people who turn apples into vodka. I'm good.
With a little bit of work and a little bit of patience, you know. I'm
Right?
saying. Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so y'all, my time is up. Thank you again, Mika, for joining me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week. Make sure you tune into all of
Yes.
the Lux radio shows. And Tuesday, very lucky Christmas. Make sure you tune in. And as always, have a blessed week. Next Friday, my guest will be Paulette Bowes, autism mom, also a helper for the homeless in Lauderhills, Florida. She'll be here to share her story and her inspiration, and she'll be helping us kick off because January is nonprofit month, where a lot of people from nonprofit are going to be coming in and sharing their stories. So have yourself a
Yay.
blessed one, and
Thank
thank you for
you.
joining us. Thank you again, Mika. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a great one.